a pig head was kept alive for hours.
This is insane. You told me this earlier. This is insane. Okay, go on.
The head was kept alive separate from the body.
Yes.
So that's the big one. So this has been kind of a running joke or kind of like a science fiction-y thing in certain shows like Futurama, but also a more serious take in pop culture things like RoboCop, where he's just effectively just a head.
He is, yeah.
So I think this is kind of leading towards this type of future where you're able to have heads.
This is insane because like this is very sci-fi, very like what you mentioned, very futuristic. Having something like this is like I wouldn't have imagined it. Like this like in this day and age.
Yeah. So the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center was able to isolate the blood flow to the brain of the pig and then separate that brain from the rest of the body. Mm-hmm. And then they were able to keep that brain alive for 5 hours.
For 5 hours? That's already super impressive, by the way. I mean, it's a lot to say about the pig, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so the pig brains were left or kept alive for 5 hours, and they did just fine. And they used a new extracorporeal pulsatile circulatory control. So basically, it mimicked like a heartbeat.
Oh, okay.
So it pumped blood and nutrients into the brain area
to keep it alive.
To keep it alive, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So this has made me just like what is going on? Like I wonder if this is going to lead to more different advances in longevity.
You know what? I was thinking the exact same thing. I actually have some thoughts on that, by the way.
I do too. Yeah. But we'll continue this conversation after you consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button. We come out with interesting videos like this one daily. So if you want to keep up to date with interesting topics like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So my thought immediately went to Walt Disney.
Oh my God, they're gonna bring him back from his cryogenic
hook him up
chamber.
to this.
They're gonna hook him up. Oh yeah, he's still in cryogenic chamber, right? Underneath the mouse in the Walt Disney World.
Yeah, right next to Steamboat Willie.
He's actually the statue encased in the.
He's there.
Yeah, he's there. He greets every customer.
He's gonna be just RoboCop at that point,
Oh my God!
Bring him back. He's like our new CEO, the first CEO.
The first CEO. He's bringing Imagineering back in a real way.
But I mean, they do have a lot of animatronics,
Oh my God!
I'm just saying. But so this whole thing is actually meant for improvements on heart issues.
Okay.
So when you do like a bypass surgery, they already do a similar thing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. However, they don't do it to this degree.
Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So prior, it's like they kind of keep it somewhat connected. But the mimicking of the heart rate is kind of the differentiating factor to where it allowed the brain to have less side effects potentially when reattached.
I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about, they kept the pig head alive for 5 hours, and they could potentially keep it alive for a lot longer, depending on like how long, like what they have to do. But my immediate thought went to, I don't think human trials would be very ethical in this sense.
Really?
Because I do think that there would have to be a lot of steps to make sure that this is done very safely. Mm-hmm. Even if it does have like a low risk. But at what point would you say it's like you would want this done to you?
I think if you have to have your heart worked on, because then your heart, you'd have to like be able to pump blood through your body. So you have to like kind of rearrange the blood vessels in your body already.
Yeah.
So to get the work done. So I mean, in that sense, they're already doing it, but this one is like much more advanced.
Yeah.
So the thing is that the issue it comes with like keeping the right amount of like fluids and nutrients and all this other stuff. So this is also controlled by algorithms.
Oh, okay.
So now the computers are coming in to like help like feed the brain and
AI.
at this
Possibly,
point, but
yeah.
possibly like keeping it your brain alive during this whole thing. So I do think this is kind of the first step towards what we were talking about before about RoboCop, the brains in jars,
Yeah.
and I do wonder if this will lead to like I said before, or hinted at before, the longevity, because a lot of things can happen to a person's body, but then a lot of times like the brain will be intact, and if you can keep the brain living.
Yeah, it makes me wonder because it brings me back to Futurama. Because the thing is that I believe there was an episode where they could remake a body, and if they could reattach the head to a different body, then that means that you would essentially be living like a full.
Oh yeah, you could like
life.
you could like do, because then it goes into like cloning and stuff like that. Could you just clone the rest of your body and then have it grow up and then you just reattach the head?
Or you could just become RoboCop. And
RoboCop
you could
or Cyborg
you
from
could be,
Teen Titans.
Yeah, true. You could become that. I think this is like I mentioned, this all falls now into the realm of science fiction.
But science fiction is reality now.
Yeah, science fiction is in reality now. They're putting chips into your brain. And they're doing.
But I mean, like that. Now we're keeping the brain alive with technology.
Yeah, now we're keeping the brain alive with.
So I think it's gonna be, like now it's gonna combine. Like, okay, now we're gonna combine. We're gonna get actual cyborgs. I think in the future, maybe 20 years, we're gonna be like, oh, now we miniaturize the brain keeping alive mechanism, and now we can put it into these humanoid robots.
But I have to ask you, and this is also a question for the audience as well. Would you want to keep your brain alive? Would you want to keep your head alive?
Yeah.
But why?
Because you don't want to die.
That's true.
I was like, that's a pretty obvious question.
I mean, like, but if in the sake of longevity, you would essentially, because I don't think it might age differently, but I mean, like, you'd be limited on the things you could do if you're only a head in a jar. And I think that's why in Futurama, it's like the head in the jar museum. Yeah.
But then, like, you also hinted at this is like a combination of multiple stories viewers. So, like, the other things that's been revealed has been the whole Neuralink. So Neuralink is the chip attached to the brain.
I know where you're going with this. Yeah, okay.
And then the chip attached to the brain lets you communicate, but also able to move your arms and stuff. So you're able to like.
So you're going full cyborg.
Effectively, at that point.
That's true. Yeah, you'd effectively go full cyborg, and then you could do whatever you want.
Yeah, you're like, oh, like at that point, because I feel like I do wonder if there's like the two sides of it. Like if you were paralyzed, either they could do the Neuralink and it could go help you reconnect with your body, or they could potentially have this whole thing where like, oh, now we'll put you in like a cyborg body.
Yeah, I think about this too.
RoboCop body.
Yeah, I think about RoboCop because in RoboCop,
he was not very happy.
No. I'm gonna talk. I've seen both. I've seen like the old ones and the new ones, but in the new one too, he tracks down the people who murdered him, and the thing is that it all fell into corruption. Yeah, so I think that there's pros and cons to all of this. But yes, eventually there will be one where someone's head is in a jar, they get attached to a cyborg, and they become RoboCop.
Or just either that, or they get attached to like a fresh human body, like a clone body of themselves.
Yeah, you think about it, you still have to work.
But if you're rich.
But if you're, I mean, that's okay. That's true. Then how much people are not going to have these head in jars? I would imagine it'd be super expensive too. Yeah. So
I mean, I could imagine like the first person be like, oh, Mr. Musk or
Bezos.
Or what is it?
He would be
Anybody really?
and they would be able to make money by giving their sagely advice.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates in the head in the jars. Yeah. Yeah, but I would want to know from my audience.
Yeah. Do you think this is like truly this too sci-fi, too weird? But I mean, I think this is where it's going. The longevity science is not going towards. I feel like it's both like rejuvenation, like fountain of youth stuff, but also like just full on replacements, like keep the brain alive until like you can make a new body or something.
Yeah.
But
let us know in the comments down below.